Hey guys, here we're cooking today with the Prokan Grill and the Prokan Kano Oven. So we have the pizza oven on this side, which is great for breads and pizzas, and then your traditional barbecue grill over here. Today we're gonna be making some fresh naan. We're gonna teach you guys how to make the naan dough and how to cook it in the oven, some zesty herb salad, and some labneh sauce, which is a hung yogurt. And we're gonna show you how to plate that to impress your friends and family. So the ingredients we have here today is all-purpose flour, some olive oil, some salt, some yeast and sugar, and some warm milk and water. So we're gonna start off with making a well in the flour. This is where we're gonna add our liquids. This is warm milk and water. We're just gonna add that carefully into the middle of the well. At this time, you're gonna add your sugar and your yeast as well into the warm milk. And we're just gonna slowly mix that together until all of your sugar and your yeast has dissolved. And you're gonna let that sit for about 10 minutes and it'll start to foam and bubble. We've waited 10 minutes. Now our warm milk has activated with the sugar and the yeast. You can see some bubbles activating. Now it's time to mix in the flour into the dough itself. So we're just gonna use a wooden spoon and do this part by hand. And then when we're kneading the dough later, we'll move it to the KitchenAid. So we're just gonna make a shaggy dough. You can mix everything in. This recipe is designed for ease and simplicity, so it's no fuss and you're not gonna be stressing out about dough. As you can see, it's gonna start cleaning up the bowl itself. Use the dough itself to clean the sides of the bowl so you're getting all of your ingredients in. And then at this point is a great time to add your olive oil and your salt. All of these measurements will be in the recipe that we attach. Just a traditional knead, push away from yourself. Use the palm of your hand. And then we're gonna knead this for about 2 minutes before we let it rest in somewhere warm. At this point, this is exactly what we're looking for. We're gonna make a little ball. We're gonna leave it in here, and we're just gonna drizzle a little more olive oil on top to make sure it doesn't dry out. Gonna spread that over. We're gonna plastic wrap this and leave this somewhere warm for 1 hour to rise. It's gonna double in size. All right, so we've let our dough rise somewhere warm and covered for 1 hour. It's doubled in size, as you can see. It's nice and big. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna punch it down. So we're just gonna put some flour on our hands and some on top. We're just gonna deflate the dough. There's so much air in here from the yeast doing its job. So we've now punched out some of the air and we're gonna move it to the KitchenAid. All right, awesome. So our dough looks great. It's ready to come out of the KitchenAid. And you've got a nice, very soft, smooth, less sticky. So we're done with the KitchenAid for now. We're gonna flour the surface of the dough. We're gonna flour the surface of the table, just so it's easier to work with. And we're gonna make a nice little ball. All right, so we've cut it into 2 even pieces. I'm just gonna cut each half into 4. And you don't need to worry about it being too even. This is more of a rustic dough itself. So as we work with our dough, we're gonna cover the rest of the dough just to make sure it doesn't dry out. We're just gonna use a olive oil bottle here. This is one of my favorite olive oils from a local company in Ottawa. So that's a nice sized naan. And you're gonna continue to do that with all your little pieces of dough. Awesome, so the Prokan Kano Oven is now preheated. We can start cooking our naans. All right, so we've lightly dusted our peel just to make sure it's not sticking. Throw our naan on. You wanna always make sure that it can move before you get to the oven. Otherwise you have the risk of it sticking. All right, so we've got the motor on, so the motor is rotating. We've got it set to 460 Fahrenheit, and we're gonna cook the naans in there. They're going right now. They're about 3 minutes each side, but you don't have to worry about it too much because the plate is actually moving itself, so it's doing all the hard work for us. All right, so we have our beautiful naan or flatbread. It's kind of a mix between a naan and a pita, and it's gonna go great with the rest of the meal that we'll get going. So now that you've got this done, the harder part is over, and let's learn how to make the meat for the kofta. All right, so we're gonna get our meat ready for the kofta. It's a ground beef, basically like a meatball on a stick that we're gonna grill on the Prokan Grill. So the ingredients we have here ready to go is some onions that we're gonna cut, some garlic, and some spice mix for the kofta, which we'll include in the recipe below. Some fresh herbs, which is just a bit of coriander and parsley. And we're gonna chop everything up nice and fine, add it to the meat, and we're gonna add it to the stand mixer and mix it with the paddle. So we'll go ahead and start with our onions. We're gonna mince this up real nice and fine because we don't want any big pieces in the meatball itself. All right, so that's fine enough. We're gonna mix this into our kofta. So we're just gonna take the ends off of the garlic. Once we have all that sliced up, we're gonna just mince it up again. Gonna cut the herbs. All right, so in this bowl now, we have everything chopped up and mixed. So we have our chopped garlic, our chopped onions, our cilantro, parsley, the salt, and the spice kofta mix. We have here some metal skewers. You can use metal skewers, you can use wooden skewers. If you're using wooden skewers, you should soak them in water for an hour beforehand. That's just gonna help prevent the sticks from catching fire or burning. So don't be shy, you can use your hands, just make sure your hands are clean. And you grab some of the kofta mix, and we're just gonna build these around the skewer. You want nice and uniform so that they cook evenly. That's definitely key. You should leave some of the stick out at the ends just so you know where it is, but you don't wanna leave too much out. And don't be concerned because you're most likely gonna pull it off the skewer when it's done cooking before you guys eat it anyways. So you guys can have that ready, sitting there, and we're just gonna continue with 4 more. All right, we're preheated and ready to go on the Prokan Grill. We're gonna start cooking our kofta. It's good to go. It's about 475 to 500 degrees where we're starting. The best thing about the Prokan Grill is that the stainless steel grates are super non-stick, which makes grilling a breeze, and you really can do multiple things at once in an outdoor kitchen. With ground beef, we wanna cook it fully, and we'll have all the details and the temperatures of the internal temperatures of the meat in the description below. All right, so while we're gonna have the kofta cooking, we can get our 2 little sauces ready. So we're gonna make a yogurt sauce with hung yogurt and labneh. And we're also gonna make a little herb salad. By the time we finish that, these guys should be good to go and we can put everything together. So what we have here is some Greek yogurt, some salt, some garlic, and some za'atar, and a couple of different citrus that we're gonna zest in. We're gonna finish a bit of olive oil. So I'm just gonna grab the yogurt, nice amount of salt. We're gonna zest an orange. Some lemon zest. It's gonna make it a nice fruity and acidic. We're gonna do the same with the garlic. Some of the za'atar. Just gonna add a bit of juice. So we're gonna cut some of this orange. I'm gonna cut some of this lemon. All right, our last ingredient to add is some of our Aurelius olive oil. We're gonna do the citrus habanero, just a little bit. And this one's really easy. You're just gonna mix everything together. All right, so we're gonna make our herb salad. Just a little bit of dill, parsley, cilantro. But if you don't like any of these ingredients, you can pick whatever herbs you like. It's really easy to just kind of cater to what you want. Nice leafy, and then dill kind of just rounds it out. So that's our go-to mix here. A little more orange juice, lemon juice as well. A little acid is gonna go a long way. A nice olive oil, not the same as like a cooking olive oil. You wanna use a higher quality olive oil that you're not gonna heat up. So just a finishing olive oil. So we're gonna mix everything together. And then for a bit of acid, we're just gonna add some pickled pearl onions, and then a bit of color from some raw beets. All right, so we've made our naan in the naan or the pita, the flatbread. We've got it done and we've used the Prokan Kano Grill. The meat's done now, which is perfect because we had enough time to do our yogurt sauce and our herb salad. Nice char and smokiness from the grill. We can pull these guys off. All right, so we've got everything ready now. We've got our kofta cooked. We got our yogurt sauce done, our little herb salad, and we did our naan flatbreads. So we're gonna start plating everything. So we're just gonna take a nice big scoop of our yogurt labneh. Gonna spread that on the bottom here. We've got our nicely grilled kofta. Put those right on top. Nice naan. We're plating one for just for a personal portion now, but if you have like a huge group of people, friends and family, you can very easily make this a family style platter. And just a sprinkle more of za'atar and a nice final drizzle of a nice olive oil. Finished our plate. We've got our beef kofta, our lemony, zesty za'atar herb salad, little hung yogurt, and our nice naan flatbread. We are fortunate enough to grill it at the same time as we're making our bread. Prokan Grill doesn't just build appliances, it builds outdoor kitchens for generations of gathering. We're gonna really enjoy our time with our friends and family as we grill around and create memories.